A lot of young men are worried about getting married because they're afraid that they'll end up with a bad, selfish woman as a wife. But the good news is that the bad wives generally announce themselves. They're proud of it, and they'll tell you all about it. So take this woman named Paige. Paige is a TikTok influencer, also happens to be married with 4 children. And she's a bad wife and is very eager to alert the public to that fact, including with this video. Watch.
A few weeks ago, I said I don't do my husband's laundry, and a lot of people are saying, whoa, 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 those are small acts of kindness. Why wouldn't you want to do that for your partner? But here's the thing. Small acts of kindness that are mostly domestic labor just add up to work at the end of the day. So here's a list of things that I don't do for my husband. You all know I don't do his laundry. He can do that himself. I do my laundry, and we do the kids' laundry, but he does his own. I don't cook dinner. He cooks dinner every single night. I do breakfast and lunch for us and our kids. I don't pack him a lunch. If he's hungry, he'll figure out what he's going to eat for lunch the same way that I do. I don't make his doctor's appointments because guess what? He's not making mine. Would it be kind of me to do that? For sure. Is it my job? Absolutely not. I want him to be healthy, but he's a grown-ass man and he can book his own appointments, right? There's a lot of things that I don't do for my husband. I don't schedule his haircuts. I don't pack his clothes for vacation. Right? I don't do those things. I don't buy him new underwear when it's got holes in it. All of those are things that he's a grown man and he can do himself. Can I do small acts of kindness for him? Of course I can. And I do. I see a vinyl that I think he's going to like because he's creating a vinyl collection. I buy it. I'm at the store and I see something that I think he might enjoy eating. I buy it. I find a new non-alcoholic beer that he wants to try out. I buy it. Right? Those are small acts of kindness. Doing his laundry, cooking him dinner, making him lunch, booking his doctor's appointments, all those things, that's domestic labor. Those are chores. Those are not acts of kindness. Do I do them occasionally when he's working a lot? Of course. Do I cook dinner sometimes when he's had a really long day? Of course. But me not doing that does not mean that I don't show him love or kindness. They're different things. It is not my job as a wife, it is not in my job description to do all the domestic labor as small acts of kindness to my partner and receive nothing in return.
Now, the video has gone viral with many women in the comments gushing over how much they respect and admire her for this approach, which is good because it gives single men the chance to go through the comments and cross all of these women off of the list of potential wives in the future. A video like this provides a perfect litmus test. Like, show it to a woman you're dating, and if she nods her head and says, amen, break up immediately. Just cut it off right there. Because there are 2 major problems with this video, and anyone who endorses it also shares in having these problems. Beginning with the fact that she made the video in the first place. Like, even if I could agree that it's defensible for a wife to flat out refuse to do any of the things she lists, which I don't agree, it would still be a major red flag that you're proud of not doing them. You're taking pride in what you don't do for your husband. You are bragging about all the ways that you don't help him and don't care for him. That alone tells us that your marriage is deeply sick and will not survive for much longer unless you change dramatically and quickly. There's really no reason why you needed to tell the world who does the laundry in your house. Nobody asked for that information, and if they did ask for it, you could just ignore them. But you're proud of not doing the laundry, proud of the fact that apparently when you do a load of laundry for yourself and the kids, you specifically separate his clothes and refuse to throw them in the washer with the other clothes. It takes actual effort to not do the laundry for one person in the house. That's how dedicated you are to not helping your husband. Now, it should be easy to see the problem here. Like, what if your husband made a condescending video where he smugly boasted about all the stuff he doesn't do for you because you're a grown woman and you can do it yourself? How would that make you feel? How would you be happy that your husband takes pride in refusing to help you? Would you like the fact that he's announcing this to the entire world? I bet you wouldn't. I bet you expect him to be more respectful towards you and your marriage. And I bet that's not the only expectation you have for him that you fail to live up to yourself. In fact, I bet there are chores that you expect him to do that you won't do, even though there are no chores that you will do that he won't. I bet I know who shovels the snow, who mows the lawn, and it's not you. But putting your bragging aside, your attitude itself is also very wrong. And I'm not saying that you should be the only one always exclusively doing all the things on your list. Every marriage is different. My wife exclusively or nearly exclusively does some of those things. Some of them we both do. My wife does almost all the laundry. She handles breakfast and lunch for the kids pretty much exclusively, at least Monday through Friday. She makes dinner more than 50% of the time, but I do make dinner fairly often. She She books most of the appointments. I generally pack my own suitcase when I travel. My wife does a vastly disproportionate amount of domestic labor in general. I earn pretty much all the money to keep our family fed and sheltered. That's how it works in our family, and it works very well for us. Not every family will work exactly that way. That's fine, but here's the point. Scorekeeping is death to a marriage. If you are only willing to do things that your spouse also does in equal measure, you are keeping score. There is apparently a running tally in your head. I'm guessing that the phrase "your turn" comes up quite a lot in Paige's household. It's your turn to do the dishes. It's your turn to vacuum the rug. It's your turn to, do the kids' laundry. She's keeping track and making sure that her efforts never exceed 50%. I can tell you, in my marriage, your turn, we never say, well, it's your turn to do this. It's your turn. What kind of child are you? It's a childish mentality. It never comes up. And it comes up with our kids. Our kids do that with each other all the time. No, it's your turn to do this. That's how children operate. And who decides what the score is? Who actually keeps track of these things? Well, I think we can assume that that's one job Paige is happy to solely take charge of. Now, marriages can barely function this way and certainly cannot thrive this way. You're treating your husband like a business partner. At best, he's a roommate. In fact, there really is no difference at all in the living arrangement you have with your husband and the one you would have with him if he was just a roommate. That should tell you something. You shouldn't just be willing to do things for him that he does in equal measure in return. You should delight in the opportunity to care for him in unique and different kinds of ways. Your attitude should be the reverse of what it is right now. You should be proud of the things you do for your husband that he does not do in the same way for you. You should be proud of the special and unique ways that you are able to serve your husband. Just like he should be proud in the reverse. The fact that in my family, I earn the money in our family and support and provide for the family pretty much exclusively, that's not a source of resentment for me. I don't sit around and say, well, when are you going to chip in some? I don't want to have to do all this. I like to give something that I don't receive in return. I take pride in that. It's a burden that I shoulder alone, and I would rather shoulder it alone than go 50-50 on it. My wife, for her part, does many things that I don't do, certainly not in the same way or in the same amount. She also then gives things that she does not receive back in equal measure. So we're both giving to the family in different ways. How do we keep score then? How do we tally everything up? How do we determine who is doing more? We don't. There's no scorecard. It's not possible to keep a scorecard anyway. We would need like 1,000 different scorecards for every aspect of our lives, and then we would need to tally up all the scores and come up with some kind of master scorecard that gives the ultimate score based on all the individual scores. And if we did all that, who would we discover in the end is doing more? I don't know. I can only hope that I'm doing everything I can for my family and giving all of myself. I know that my wife is. Now, to you, the idea of doing more and giving more is oppressive. It fills you with bitterness and envy. And that's because you love your feminist principles more than you love your family. It's because you want a coworker, not a husband. And if you don't change that attitude and change it soon, you're not going to have a husband for very long, because these kinds of arrangements don't work. And that is why our friend Paige and everyone who shares her attitude is today canceled. Thanks for checking out this video. If you'd like to listen to my full podcast on the go, you can check out The Matt Walsh Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.